Hey guys, Nuie here, and welcome to another episode of Build Theory. So this one's gonna be a little bit different, because this is going to be more of it's gonna be basically a double feature because I have two builds in mind, but they both utilize the same skill. So I just decided to combine them together and see what your guys' thoughts are between which one would be better overall, and just basically how they work. So basically. The two builds I have in mind are a Thunder Vortex with Blade Vortex, as well as a Poison Vortex with while still using Blade Vortex. So, for starting off, Blade Vortex is a spell that creates ethereal blades that spin around the caster and deal physical damage. Each blade lasts for a minimum of 5 seconds, and then if you head over here, you can see you can create up to 20 of these blades at one time at any active time. So it's got a nice amount of damage you can do, and then as each more blade goes up, you'll do more damage. And you get 30% more damage with each hit for each blade. So when you get maximum blades, you get a large amount of damage increase. So in order to keep this up, though, you need things like spell echo, faster casting, increased duration, and things like that. So keeping all of this in mind, as well as the fact that this Blade Vortex does physical damage, spell damage, is boosted by physical damage, spell damage, area damage, and damage, I just took this all into thought, and because it does physical damage, it can scale off of poison, so I took both of these things into thought and just developed two different builds, in order to best utilize this. So the first build I'll present using Path of Building here is the first build I want to present will be the Path of Building. Here we go. Get that up. There we go. So the first build I wanted to present was my Poison Vortex, or I am dubbing it the Toxic Vortex. So this one utilizes both of these are going to be utilized in the Shadow class, so just keeping that in mind. But taking that into account, the first one, Toxic Vortex, takes into account the Shadow's Trickster skill, which currently does gives you a large amount of overtime damage, as well as increases to maximum frenzy charges and power charges. So frenzy charges will give you the increased cast speed, and then power charges will give you increased crit and as well as increased spell damage. So and also because of this tree, you'll get increased damage over time based on your amount of charges. So as I develop both frenzy and power charges, then I will get increased damage from both of those. So finishing up with the last two, I just grabbed the increased damage over time, as well as Ghost Dance and Shade Form for increased evasion and energy shield. Now I will probably grab this last. This will probably be my Uberlab, and just grab these ones first. Especially starting off with this one to be able to generate charges and really get the damage over time going. But heading into the tree, we start off with just heading out with physical damage, physical and chaos damage. We're going to scale through all of these trees up to coordination. We're going to grab Soul Siphon, we're going to grab Blood Siphon, and we're going to grab Trickery, just for dexterity, intelligence, and also crit strikes. And then we're going to grab all the physical damage nodes from Wall of Blades, as well as Entropy. Because it's a spell, it doesn't take into account your weapon damage, so there's no point in grabbing anything like that, or grabbing any of these nodes or anything like that. Instead, we're going to be using Wands, because Wands will give you the spell damage increase, as well as the cast speed you can get from spell damage. So those are the weapons you want to use. And we're gonna grab Nullification and Cold-Hearted Calculation for increased spell damage and stuff like that. And then grabbing things like health, as well as more health here, as well as the increased area damage for blast radius and stuff like that, and as well as Occultist Domain, just for the intelligence, as well as cast speed, as well as spell damage. And I also wanted to grab Practical Application for the extra strength, as well as getting the extra chance to avoid stuns while casting, so that I can keep casting. You can keep casting this and won't have to worry about getting stunned or dying from it. And then you want to grab the both sides of this, so you'll get the Force Shaper as well as Atrophy. And then heading down, this you just grab Void Barrier, Revenge of the Haunted. Wow. The Chaos node, so you get the extra Chaos difference and extra Chaos damage. And then you want to grab all the Poison nodes over here. And then you'll head through the tree, grab some extra life, grab some extra evasion, and then this is the important part, is grabbing exceptional performance, as well as potency of will, because this gives you the 50% increased skill effect duration. So your blades will last longer, and you won't have to run an increased duration or anything like that. You can just kind of run what this will free you up to run what you need. I didn't grab Valpact because I wanted to take into the account I'm grabbing Shaper since I'm already coming through this path. I don't want to get rid of Shaper since it's a nice amount of life regen, and I'm getting plenty of life gained on hit, based off of just killing stuff from Hired Killer as well as Blood Siphon. So I don't really want to take into account that. Plus I have Energy Shield, and as well as just a decent amount of health. So, and a good amount of evasion. This build, this is where these two builds differ, is that this build is more focused on poison, as well as and damage over time, and that's also, which also lends it to have more evasion overall from the tree. Based on just how this passed out, it just ended up having more evasion. Whereas when you head over to my Thunder Vortex, it's actually got more spell shield instead of actual evasion, and then it has a little bit more life. So that's the difference between the two. But heading into the skill gems, my plan setup is to use Blade Vortex with Poison, with Spell Echo, and then Delicate Ailments as my 4-link, and then grabbing Vile Toxins and Unbound Ailments as my 5 and 6 link potentially. I will be wanting Vulnerability with Blasphemy support, Hatred, and then grabbing Whirling Blades, or probably switching this up for Shield Slam, most likely, because I do plan on using a wand. But I also could use, I was also looking at doing this build with a dagger, so like a spell damage dagger, which gives me a lot of crit, as well as still giving me spell damage. But probably I'll be swapping this Whirling Blades out for either Shield Slam, most likely Shield Slam. In terms of how this is going to work, I'll probably use Shield Slam, and then I'll still use Fresher Text Fortify and Reduce Mana and stuff like that. I'm still going to be using Lightning Golem in both of these, because Lightning Golem gives you the increased cast speed, so I'll be able to spam out my blades a little bit faster. And then I'm running Rallying Cry in this one, so just for the increased damage and stuff like that. It's also got reduced mana, so increased area effect, so I'll be able to get a larger amount of damage increase from that. But this build is definitely focused on doing as much poison damage as I can, and really scaling off of poison damage while still utilizing the clear that's offered from Blade Vortex and stuff like that. So that's the first portion of this build, or my first portion of this, and then heading over to my Thunder Vortex. My Thunder Vortex takes into account a different portion of the tree, so you still grab plenty of this node, plenty of these nodes, and you're still grabbing the mana regen and stuff like that. However, this one takes into account different elemental damage, because you are, instead of getting all your, I still maintain this physical damage, and I will explain why in a minute, but this one is going to be more focused on elemental damage. So instead of running the Trickster, we're running the Assassin, so I get heavier crits, as well as the increased power charge duration, because I only care about power charges as far as this one goes. So I'll gain power charges on 9 crits. This is not always going to crit, but it has good crit multiplier, so anytime I crit or don't crit, I'll get power charges and stuff like that. So the way this tree works is you scale out the chaos damage, chaos physical damage first off, and then you grab just basic health as well as physical damage from here. Instead of grabbing this entropy, you're not going to grab that now. You're still going to grab down all of this, so you'll get all of your evasion and energy shield from here. And then you're going to head up and grab this power charge here, and then scale through here and grab all this life and all this physical damage, but you're not going to grab this side of it. You're going to grab lightning damage from here, as well as more energy shield from here, and then you're still going to be able to grab blast radius and stuff like that for increased cast speed, or not cast speed, but increased increased area damage. And then you're going to head up through here, grab this extra power charge as well as this lightning damage. And I also scaled over and grabbed this extra life just for the all res, as well as this nice portion of life. It's about 20% extra health right here, so I grabbed that. And then I head down through here, grabbed all of these spell damage, all of these energy shield, and all of the spell damage. And then once again, I grab Potency of Will as well as Exceptional Performance, so that I can maintain my skills without having to use like an increased duration. And then I grabbed all this extra health as well as Shaper and stuff like that. So this is why this build takes into more account of more energy shield instead of actual evasion, because you're just coming at the tree from a different side. So this is how this works. And then heading over into the actual skills, the skill set is different. We still use Blade of Vortex, but instead we are using Physical Lightning, Spell Echo, and Elemental Focus. And then Controlled Destruction and Concentrated Effect as our 5 and 6 link. We're going to be running Wrath as well as Elemental Weakness off of Tempest Shield. So Curse on hit with Tempest Shield, increased duration. We're still running a Lightning Golem because this will give me the cast speed, as I said before, and this one definitely runs Shield Charge with faster attacks and Fortify. And then we're running Herald of Thunder as well as Rallying Cry, just the last fill outs for, once again, increased damage, as well as Herald of Thunder just gives more lightning damage, so I'll get the lightning damage from those two abilities. Now, this build is a little bit lacking in terms of strength and dexterity, whereas the other one was a bit more filled out. So all you need to do is just get like a strength belt and a dexterity necklace or something like that, and you'll be fine. But this one definitely does use a spell wand, and that's all I'm using. So just a spell wand and then a spell shield, or with energy shield on it, or just, you know, an evasion energy shield, because this build actually has balanced out a little bit more energy shield in exchange for some evasion, and then a little bit more life overall. So these are my two Blade Vortex builds, and this is how I want to look at them. As always, be sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the description below. And once again, I do want to remind people that this is a build 3, so this is the first portion of how I plan this out, and I will get to the point where I do a full guide to this, but this isn't for the purpose of these videos is not, and the purpose of my build theories series is not to it's not to be a full-out guide. It's to get an accurate description of what my thoughts are in terms of the actual skill tree and stuff like that, and how all the skills are going to work together and stuff like that. This is not, the portion of this is not a full descriptive guide, and I do plan on doing guides and stuff like that for each of my builds as I level them out and as I hit endgame and stuff like that. I do plan on doing full guides, but right now the portion of this is to be able to display the skill tree and really show off how this build will really work together based on the skills and stuff combined with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys in the next episodes, in future episodes, and as always, I love to hear your thoughts and comments on all of my builds. And if you guys end up playing some of my builds, that'll be great. I've really been having fun creating these for you guys, and I hope you've been enjoying them. I've been having so much fun in Path of Exile. So I will catch you all later. I'm gonna go play. Nuie out.
Heaven sent my residence, it's every day just visiting, blending.